that don't have nothing, they have to tolerate everything. You do some shit to me, I'm putting you on yellow, nigga. You on this. This is where you at. This is where you at. If you up on ice, nigga. And I feel like niggas don't take that. Like I said, I know a boy, I know a guy that he literally rich mother, and he literally told me to my face, I'd rather deal with 7 and 8 than a 10. They literally told me that shit in my face because they just like one little thing and they're off. Like one little thing is like they just don't feel like they gotta compete. They gotta feel like they're already picking. And it's crazy that this how men are feeling. It's crazy how that's how men are thinking nowadays. Like it's like nah, like these 10s are not trying to compete. They're just trying to get picked. Like the 7 and 8s, they're gonna do what you say.
I have to admit, my instant, visceral, knee-jerk reaction is to always disagree with Cardi B. Probably because I don't like how she talks, and I don't think that she stands for anything within the ballpark of what I believe facilitates or encourages a healthy society, let alone healthy relationships or stable homes. But I was feeling generous today, and I stepped back from my bias and really took the time to think about what she was saying and allow me to put it in a more understandable interpretation. Men will choose to build relationships with women who are slightly less attractive over women who think that they are 10s because they are more willing to work through things and play as a team, and they don't just expect the world to cater to them. So my question is, what's wrong with that? Why is it so crazy to think that these men today, even the rich ones, don't want to deal with bad bitches and instead prefer to pick women who will actually listen to them and partner with them and treat them with a little more respect?
Wait a minute!
Is that not exactly what a man should be choosing? And I know she said something about how it's because the 7s and 8s will tolerate unacceptable behavior from men because they are insecure and they have no options and they won't put men on ice like she does, being the self-proclaimed 10 that she is.
Absolutely, I fucking think I'm a 10.
Which is all just complete bullshit because there's women across the board who get chewed up and spit out by relationships no matter how beautiful they are. Therefore, this is not an issue of 7s, 8s, 9s, or 10s. It's not even a submissiveness issue. It is an entitlement issue. It's not even about men who want to take advantage of women. It's about women who think that they are 10s and act like the world owes them something for merely existing. And I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but I think it is a bold concept coming from someone who has been making physical alterations for years to try to look a certain way. And if that's not offensive enough, I also find that the types of women who get a lot of work done have the same energy as the types of men who make flexing their money their entire personality. The shallow anchors, the validation addiction, the ego issues, it's really not so much of a coincidence that those two types of people often find each other, because the relationships we align with are a reflection of ourselves. You can't convince me that the types of women who talk about how they are 10s and how they deserve this or that and act like their shit does not stink don't give off the exact same energy as guys like Wes Watson, for example.
There's a whole group of weirdos on the internet that have 10-inch arms, tits, and play on their computer all day that make videos about jacked, tattooed studs that slay vagina and pull bad bitches that refer to us not as alphas, and they think they're men. Oh my God. You see someone as amazing as Wes Watson on your screen, you couldn't fathom how it could be real. It's gotta be all fake, because I could never even understand how the someone would pay $95,000 a month in rent. So I'm just going to talk shit that he rents his pad, and I'm going to fully just skip over the understanding that I don't have $95,000 a month.
Or how about this extremely uncomfortable video that I happened across the other day?
Y'all like bodybuilders?
Oh yeah.
Bodybuilders?
Yeah.
I like skinny, scrawny guys.
How about multimillionaires? How about 8 inches and thick? How about talented? How about loving and respectful? I lost my wife 10 weeks ago. 21 years faithful. My daughter committed suicide 3 weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
13. She was faster than me at 12, and I run a 6-minute mile. My testimony, I'm nothing but pure, and I ask you if you want to be in the YouTube channel. And you like scrawny guys.
I know he trauma dump on us like that. Damn.
Absolutely insufferable. And that is the energy that people who tout themselves as 10s give off, whether they realize it or not, especially when they feel rejected or aren't getting their way. So do you think such people are capable of healthy relationships and teamwork? No, there is a reason why Wes Watson only dates escorts. And like I said, this is not a submissiveness issue that we are dealing with here. It is an entitlement issue because entitled people can't partner. They don't respect, they only expect.
And not necessarily saying that my value and my worth is based on materialistic things, but it's just that, like, I want to be spoiled. I want to be treated like a princess. I want to be treated like I am that girl. I don't want to be perceived as materialistic, but I definitely feel like I deserve the finer things in life. I'm no longer willing to negotiate that or compromise with a 9-to-5 guy anymore.
The problem is people just get so triggered by the word submission that they tend to hyperfixate on it. But submission is actually integral to relationships. A wife must submit her life to her husband, and a husband must submit his life to his wife. You are a team. You sacrifice for each other towards goals and visions that are greater than the individuals involved. So if you can't submit, you don't belong on a team. I said in a previous video, like I've said countless times before, do not buy a castle for an entitled princess. Instead, build a castle with the type of woman who is not afraid to break a nail, laying bricks alongside you. Relationships are not a turnkey project. They require work and renovation and maintenance. And sure, looking good might get you through a lot of doorways and into a lot of bedrooms, but it does not build a home. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that an increase in beauty correlates to a decrease in character, because that is a fallacy. It's a comforting lie that a lot of average people like to believe. But truth be told, there are plenty of attractive people who are also genuinely good human beings. But the catch is, the genuinely good apples do not go around constantly asserting or proclaiming their superiority. They don't go around calling themselves high value or a 1% man or a 10 out of 10 bad bitch. In fact, I guarantee you, the most beautiful people on the planet Earth who also have good character and values, the real 10s of this world, would never call themselves a 10. And would probably even feel uncomfortable with labeling people in such a way. The way I see it, anyone who calls themselves a 10 is a walking red flag.
Absolutely, I fucking think I'm a 10, as I fucking should. And I tweeted everything that I like about myself. I think I have a fucking face when I wake up. Pretty face, bomb body. I got little feet.
Now, I understand empowering women is everything in society right now, but entitlement and narcissism are not signs of empowerment. The type of people who act like they are God's gift to humanity, who act like they are owed special treatment, who walk through life with their nose turned up, calling themselves kings and queens and goddesses and gods, are insufferable egomaniacs. But bear in mind, grossly overinflated egos are always a mask for massive insecurities. That's how you try to hide them. It's just a cope. People really need to stop acting like the way that they look or the things that they have are personality traits. Such people have effectively tied the bulk of their sense of self-worth and identity to external validation, which will actually make them extremely insecure and self-centered. Skin-deep anchors are insecure anchors. Besides, beauty is fleeting. It is slipping through your fingers every single day, and the people who try to hang on too tightly will lose themselves in the process. So do I think that people who consider themselves to be 10s are far less likely to be submissive? Absolutely. But it's not because the so-called 7s and 8s are lower in value or have no boundaries. It's actually because the so-called 10s are entitled and narcissistic and incapable of respect and relationship. Understand, if you were to ask any man who wants to provide and build a stable, secure home upon foundations of values and commitment, I promise you they will agree with me when I say that entitlement and a lack of respect are the most repulsive energies possible. The only type of men who will put up with high levels of entitlement will either be spineless doormats or the type of men who aren't even trying to be husbands in the first place. The type of men who see women as vending machines and trophies and accessories to be bought and sold and or used and abused. So no, Cardi B, it is really not that crazy for men today to want to choose women who are less entitled because they will make for far better teammates.